This call is now being recorded.
Okay, so today we will start with the new point of the chapter number 3 related to the ergonomic concept. The name of the point is anthropometry. So this is also one of the concept which is also considered under the ergonomic concept. Okay, before starting this particular part, in the last lecture we have covered the different types of the controls. So what are the different types of the control devices are there? The control devices in the form of some levers are there, some buttons are there, some toggle switches are there, some rotating wheels are there, cranks are there, some joystick devices are there. So these are different types of the control devices which are provided in the industry in order to operate the different types of the machines or the equipments. But whatever that particular different types of the controls are there, it should be provided near to the operator, so that operator or that particular worker, he can handle all the control devices very easily. Also, all the control devices are designed in such a way that it should be easily operable. During operating such control devices, there should not be any fatigue, there should not be any stress to that particular operator. And after that, we have discussed about one important concept which is called as a MMH. So it tells that the manual material handling. So there are different types of the heavy duty components are there, some light duty components are there, some medium duty components are there, which is to be handled by the operator. But during handling that particular all those particular components, it should be handled in proper way. That means without developing any stress in the human body, or there should not be any overexertion while handling that particular all the types of components. What happen whenever we are handling the different types of the components? At that time we can handle very easily, but afterwards there may be possibility of exertion. So due to that particular exertion, it will be effects on that particular human body, and there may be possibility of some another chances. So in order to avoid such types of the situation, the three approaches it has been considered in that particular MMH system. Which are the three approaches? One is the biochemical, in which we are calculating the stresses developed on the human body or the human muscles. So this is one approach. Then second approach is called as a physiological. So whatever the repetitive operations we are doing, during that repetitive operation, again there may be possibility of fatigue, there may be possibility of stress in the human body. So that all the factors will be considered in case of a physiological. And last one is called as a psychological. So it depends upon the psychology of the operator. If the psychology of the operator is there, he can handle the 50 kg load very easily. So as per his psychology, he can handle very easily. But sometimes the psychology of the operator is not like he can handle the 10 kg load at least. If his psychology is there, he can handle the maximum weight, he can handle very easily. But its psychology is not there to handle at least 10 kg load, then he is unable to handle that particular 10 kg load. Therefore, the last part is the last approach is the combination of biochemical and the physiological approach. Now, in the today's lecture, we will discuss about the next point or the important concept which is also implemented in the industry as the ergonomic parts, and the concept is called as a anthropometry. So what that particular word indicates, anthropometry, it indicates the measuring the dimensions of the human body. So number of operations we are performing by using your hand and by using your legs. So maybe some different types of the control devices are there. We can handle different types of wheels, cranks, buttons, toggle switches, then some joystick devices are there. All such devices, it is to be handled by the hand of the operator. And again, some pedal operated operations are there, maybe while driving the vehicle, maybe some another pedal operations which we have to perform in the industry. All such operations, it is to be handled by the leg of the operator or the worker. But before it is to be handled by the human body, what is the first requirement? We have to measure the dimensions of the human body. So what is the height of the worker? What is the length of the hand of the worker? What is the length of the legs of the worker? That means measuring the dimensions of the human body. That part will be considered under the anthropometry. So here I have written, it is the branch of ergonomics which deals with body shape and size. So whatever the shape of the body is there, whatever the size of the body is there, size in the sense measuring the different types of the dimensions, all that particular dimensions of the human body we have to measure in this particular anthropometry concepts. Then why it is to be necessary? So It studies the management of the human body, including linear dimensions, weight, height, volume, and range of the movement. So we are measuring the dimensions in this particular concept means we are measuring their linear dimensions, maybe some vertical dimensions are there, some horizontal dimensions are there, then weight of that particular operator, maybe there are different types of the operators are working. Some of the workers are having the weight more than 50 kg, some workers are having the weight more than 40 kg, some workers having the weight less than 70 kg, 60 kg. So like that, different types of the weights are there for the different types of worker. Then some another workers are there having the different heights. Some workers are having the maximum height, some workers are having the very less height. So we have to measure all the linear dimensions, weight, then height, volume, and the range of the movements. So these are so many dimensions that we are going to measure for the human body. Because what happens sometimes the workers are operating on that particular machine. Sometimes the workers are operating on that particular machine where the machines are to be stationary and operator is also stationary. That means he is handling only one machine. For example, if he is working for the 8 hours continuously, during that particular 8 hours, that particular operator is handle the single machine only. And some of the operators are there, they are moving from one station to the another, second to third, third to fourth, like that. Repetitive movements are to be taking place. Therefore, the requirement is that in case of that particular anthropometry data, we have to measure some structural dimensions and we have to measure some functional dimensions. Structural means static dimension and the functional means dynamic dimensions. So static means we know that. Static means stationary condition. Dynamics means it is moving condition. So operators are doing the operations at some stationary position. Sometimes he is handling different types of the or number of machines simultaneously. So at that time it is also necessary to measure the dimensions of that particular operator when he is doing the operation in the stationary condition or when he is doing the operation in the maybe in the dynamic condition. That means he is handling the more than two machines or more than one machine. So in case of a anthropometric concept, simple thing is that we are measuring the dimensions of the human body. Dimensions in the sense we are measuring the height of the worker, then their linear dimensions in the form of measuring the length of the hand length, measuring the dimensions of the legs, their fingers. So all that particular dimensions are measured in case of that anthropometry concept. And in addition to that, maybe some static dimensions are there, maybe some dynamic dimensions are there. That is also to be measured in this particular concept, because the operator sometimes it is works at the stationary condition, sometimes he is performing their work in the dynamic condition. That means he is moving from one location to the another location, from second to third, third to fourth, like that he is performing the operation. So measuring the dimensions of the human body, that concept is called as a anthropometry. Then why it is to be needed? So there are three important needs here I have written. The first need is design for the extreme individual. So as we know that some operators are there, they are working in any industry from last 10 years, and from last 10 years he is handling only one machine. Let's take an example of lathe machine. One operator is there and that operator is working in one of the industry, and from last 10 years he is working only on the single machine, for example lathe machine. So that particular lathe machine is to be designed as per the requirement of that particular operator. So for that purpose, what we have to do initially, we have to measure the dimension of that particular operator who is working continuously on the same machine for many of years. So initially, I will take the height of the worker, I will take the weight of the worker, I will measure all the important dimensions of that particular worker, and as per his requirement, I will design that particular machine. So as he has to work continuously on the same machine for continuously 8 hours, so as per its requirement, if I will design the machine, that means without any fatigue, without any stress, that particular operator can run that particular machine continuously for the 8 hours or without any fatigue, without any stress. Therefore, what is the first need of the anthropometry? Design for the extreme individual. That means if he is continuously working on the same machine individually, separate machine is to be designed that particular worker. Worker number one, if he is handling the drilling machine, the drilling machine has to be designed as per his requirement. If another operator is working on some of the CNC machine, VMC machine, so as per his requirement, that machine is to be designed. Machine is to be designed means whatever the control panels are there, what is the height of the machine is there, what are some another rotating elements are there, what are the different types of the displays are there, all such types of the additional attachments, it should be provided as per the requirement of the operator. That means designing for the extreme individual. Second, design for the average. If you take the average, maybe if you take the average height, so normally the average height we can consider it as a 4.5 feet or the 5 feet. This is the average height. Some of the operators or workers are having the height near about 6 or more than 6. Some operators are having the height near about 4 or less than 4. But some of the machines are there, that machines or that particular workstations or that particular equipments, it is to be handled by the number of operator. Today one operator will handle the lathe machine. Tomorrow, same operator will handle another CNC machine. Day after tomorrow, same operator, he is going to handle the drilling machine. That means every day, the equipment or the machine will get changed. So whatever that workstation we are designing, whatever that machine equipments we are designing, it should be designed as per the average of that particular operator. So sometimes what happen, height of the machine is very high and the height of the operator is very less. So at that time, that operator is unable to handle that particular machine. So machine is to be designed as per the average considerations. So what is the average height? 5 feet. So as per the average height, that drilling machine or the lathe machines or that the CNC VMC machine is to be designed. So the second requirement is that design for the average. Why it is to be necessary? Because every day the operators are changing. Today one operator is handling the lathe machine, tomorrow that operator will handle the CNC, day after tomorrow that operator will handle the VMC machine, again the same operator will be handle another drilling machine. So like that, the different types of the machines are handled by the different types of the operators. Therefore all that particular machines are to be designed as per the average. And the third important need is that design for the adjustable range. So the second need and the third need are mostly correlated with each other. Design for the adjustable range. So sometimes some adjustable machines are to be there. Sometimes we can increase the height of the machines and sometimes we can decrease the height of the machines. So there are some special attachments are to be provided. So according to that particular attachment, we can hold that particular machine as per our requirement, and then we will start the working. Sometimes what happen, the height of the machine is very high and the height of the operator is very less. So what we will do? So near to that particular machine, we will provide some foundations. So on that particular foundation, that operator is to be stand and he is going to operate that particular machine. So such types of the additional accessories are also provided in order to operate that particular machine. So these are the three important needs. So wherever the operators are working, wherever the workers are working on any machine, on any equipment, on any workstation in the industry, so that particular workstation is to be designed as per the requirement of that particular operator. And before designing it, what is our requirement? We have to measure the dimensions of that particular operator. So therefore these are the three important needs: design for the extreme individual, design for the average, and design for the adjustable range. So in all the three concepts, in all the three needs, the first requirement is that we have to measure the dimensions of the human body, and according to the dimensions of the human body, we have to design your workstation. So this is related to the anthropometry and the needs of the anthropometry data. नीड्स ऑफ द एंथ्रोपोमेट्री डाटा म्हणजे काय बघा, ह्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला एखादं वर्क स्टेशन जर डिझाईन करायचं असेल तर ते डिझाईन करायच्या अगोदर जर आपल्याला एखाद्या ऑपरेटरचे ह्युमन डायमेन्शन जर माहित असतील तर आपण ते वर्क स्टेशन लगेच इझिली डिझाईन करू शकतो. देअरफॉर दिस पर्टिक्युलर एंथ्रोपोमेट्री डाटा प्लेज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट रोल ड्युरिंग डिझायनिंग ऑफ द वर्क स्टेशन. नाउ वर्क प्लेस डिझाईन. So workplace design means where the operators are working. That is, one workstation is there, one table is there. On that particular table, one drilling machine is there. Near to that particular table, another maybe milling machine is there. Again, to the left side of that particular table, another lathe machine is there. So that particular total workstation, it can be handled by the operator. So maybe it is handled by the single operator, or maybe it is handled by the number of operators. Number of in the sense more than one, maybe 2, 3, 4, like that. So, but before designing that, this workplace design, it plays very, very important role. So wherever the operators are working, where the location of the different types of the switches, where the location of lever, where is the location of the pedal, where is the location of the rotating wheel, where is the location of on off button. So Considering all this particular factor means that concept is called as a workplace design. So here I have written the ideal design of any workplace should begin with the operator in the mind. So wherever the operators are to be working, so that particular workplace design is plays very important role. The design should ensure that the operator will have adequate and the comfortable posture that he can see what he must or what he can operate his controls in effective manner. So wherever the operators are working on any machine, any workstation, that operator should be comfortable. Whatever the gesture postures he is doing, that means if he has to start the machine, so he has to bring that particular hand near to that particular button. So while starting the machine, that operator should not have any fatigue. That means while starting the machine, that operator should be comfortable. Again, while controlling the different types of device, that means that operator has to operate the lever, the operator has to press some of the different types of the buttons. That means while operating all the types of control devices, that operator should be comfortable so he can works in the effective manner. If during operating all the types of control devices, that operator is in fatigue or he is in under stress, so he is unable to operate that particular workstation very easily. If he is not working in the effective manner, automatically it will be effects on the overall production of that particular industry. If the operators are not works in the effective manner, your production time is increases. If production time is increases, finally your productivity goes on decreasing. Therefore it is necessary to design the workplace in the proper way so that operator or the worker can be works in the effective manner. So before that, designing that particular workplace, the first requirement is that the operator who is handling that particular workstation, we have to take its dimensions. We have to take its dimensions, and according to the human dimensions, we have to design that particular workplace. So the third point is indicate that determination of workplace requirement will involve an examination of the work element which contains the work cycle and the examination of the body measurement, reach and movement capacity of the worker. Just now I have explained. So whatever the number of movements are to be taking place, according to that particular number of movements, your workplace is to be designed. And in addition to that, before designing any machine, before designing any equipment, we have to take the dimensions. If you take the example of simple four-wheeler vehicle, that four-wheeler vehicle, the height of the vehicle is to be designed as per the height of the passenger. The height of the vehicle is to be designed as per the height of the passenger. So if any person is to be sit in this particular four-wheeler vehicles, he can sit very easily in the comfortable manner. So some of the heighted persons are there. If that heighted persons is not possible to sit in the four-wheeler vehicles, there is no any use of that particular vehicle. So to avoid such types of the situations, as per the dimensions of the human body, we have to design that particular workplace. So this workplace design is also plays very important role under the ergonomic concept. And in that particular workplace design, these are the three important factors. Workplace design करताना कुठले तीन फॅक्टर आपल्याला कन्सिडर करायचे आहेत. तर फर्स्ट वन इज कॉल्ड एज ए dimensions of the working surface. Dimensions of the working surface. If you take the example of working surface, for example, if the operator is sit at any position, from that particular position of the operator, maybe 4 meter to the left side, 4 meter to the right side, 4 meter to the front side, and the 4 meter to the back side. So this much area in which that operator has to work. So before workplace design, the first requirement is that we have to design or we have to select the working surface. So here I have written the working surface, that is normal 50 centimeter object or control that can be grasped. Normally 50 centimeter object or control that is to be grasped. So wherever the operators are working, maybe some of the machines are there. If you take the example of CNC machine, in case of a CNC machine, at the right side some different types of the control devices are provided. At the left side maybe chuck is provided. At the bottom side some foot operated control devices are to be provided. At the back side of the machine maybe some coolant related operations are to be provided, or supply of the oil or supply of the coolant, it is to be provided. But if I have to start that particular machine, what is the requirement? That operator has to travel some distances around that particular machine. Maybe he will travel the distance maybe in the clockwise direction or maybe in the anti-clockwise direction. Means before designing the workplace, the first requirement is that we have to design the dimensions of that particular work surface. That means maybe in the 3-meter area, if that operator is to be working, so we have to design that particular 3-meter area. Means that operator is going to perform his total task in that particular selected area only. Sometimes beyond that, if he has to perform the operation, that operator is to be fatigued or he will be under the stress because he has to travel the maximum distance. So to avoid such types of the situations, the first requirement is that in the workplace design, dimensions of the working surface. Wherever we are working, we have to take their horizontal dimension, vertical dimensions. If we are working at certain height also, that height also we have to design. So this is the first requirement, that is dimensions of the working surface. Then second is called as a dimensions of working envelope. So dimensions of working envelope means, let us see, man machine system design to determine the location of control, where it is to be placed, where it is to be necessary at complex 3-dimensional envelope. So these dimensions of the work envelope is related to the 3D dimensions. Maybe some important control devices are provided at certain height. Some important control devices in the sense, some important switches are there, on off switch is there, then coolant start, coolant off, that switch is there, oil supply start, oil supply off, that switch is to be there, and again some another important switches are to be there. Such types of the switches are to be provided at certain height. So in order to operate that particular, all the types of control devices, all the types of switches, so what is the requirement? That particular operator has to raise their hand. That operator has to raise their hand and he has to start that particular switches. That means in all the 3 dimensions, in all the 3 dimensions, if that particular operator is working, if that particular operator is working, that particular factors is to be considered under the dimensions of the working envelope. In the first step, dimension of the working surface means only I am selecting the horizontal surface. Maybe he is moving at some distance at the right side, he is moving some distance at the left side, he is moving some distance at the front side, or he is moving some distance at the back side. But whatever some vertical operations he is performing, that all the vertical operations is to be considered in the second part, which is called as a dimensions of the working envelope. And the third part is called as a workplace height. Workplace height means the name itself suggests that whatever the workplace we have designed, maybe we have designed one of the lathe machine, then drilling machine, CNC machine, VMC machine. What is the height of that particular workplace? So that also plays very important role, because in that particular workplace height we have to provide all the important devices. Maybe some displays are there, number of displays are there for the CNC and VMC machine. So that display should be provided near to that particular workplace only. So while working on that particular machine, that operator or that particular worker can see that particular displays continuously. So continuously he can check the output of that particular machine, and continuously he is going to transfer that particular output to their supervisor. So in case of a workplace height, such types of the different types of the controls, different types of the displays, it should be provided. Therefore workplace height, it also plays very important role. Sometimes what happens, the workplace is designed at maximum height and the height of the worker is to be very less. So at that time what we have to do, if the workplace height is very high, at that time wherever the operators are working at that particular region or at that particular surface, we can go for some additional foundation by using some cement concrete, so that operator can handle that particular workplace very easily. So therefore this workplace height, it also plays very important. So these are the 3 important concepts. Again, it is represented by the figure. You can see the first concept is dimension of the working surface. You can see here one figure is there. In that particular figure, one operator is there. So this is the operator. The dimensions of the operator is also given. In front of the operator, that workplace is there. So he is performing some of the operations. So here he has the different types of the positions are to be represented. So the height of that particular workplace is there. Who is working? That male operator is to be working. Then maximum work area. Here it is represented. Maximum work area means where the operator is performing his work maximum times. So that particular area is called as a maximum work area. Then next is normal work area. That means after a few minutes, after a few seconds, or after a few hours, that operator is working in that particular area. That area is called as a normal work area. And work position means continuously he is working at the same point. That particular concept or that particular area is called as a work position. So if you go through this particular figure, in that particular figure you can see the dimensions of the working surface where the operator is working, at how many distance he is working at the left side, at how many distance he works at the front side, at how many distance he works at the right side. So all these particular linear dimensions, it is to be represented by the first factor, which is called as a dimensions of the work surface. But in this particular first factor, the three dimensionals are not to be there. That means if operator has to start the machine, he has to raise the hand in the vertical direction. So that particular dimension is not represented by the first part, it is represented by the second, which is called as a dimensions of the working envelope. So in this particular figure we can see here, one operator is there, he is in standing position, and in front of that particular operator, that is one workstation is there, and he is handling that particular workstation. At which regions that operator is to be working, that all the regions are represented by this particular working envelope. So you can see here, at certain height of the operator, some working region is there. At the left side, some working region is there. At the right side also, some working regions are there. Wherever the operator is working, he is raising the hand at the left side. He is raising the hand at the perfectly in the vertical direction. That operator is raising the hand at the right side. That means all the 3D dimensions, wherever the operators are working, all the 3D movements are to be represented by using the working envelope, which is to be not represented by this working surface. Working surface name itself suggests that the surface, that is 2D dimensions where the operator is working. But through this particular working envelope, we can easily identify that at which direction or at how much amount of height that workers are working. So here you will get the 3D visualization. Through this particular 3D diagram, you will get the idea at how many distance or at how many heights that workers are to be operated. And third one is called as a workplace height. So here, if you go through this particular two figures, when the operator is standing, its height is represented. If the operator is in sitting position, its height is to be represented. If the hand of the operator is perfectly straight, their dimensions are measured. If the leg is perfectly in the perpendicular direction, so their height is also to be measured. So therefore, whenever we are designing the workplace, so like that, we have to take the dimensions of that particular operator, and according to the dimensions of the operator, maybe sometimes the operator is performing his work in the standing position. Sometimes the operator is performing his work maybe in the sitting position. Whenever he is performing the work in the sitting position, at that time, that workplace is to be designed in such a way that in sitting position only he can operate that particular machine. If operator is working the machine in standing position only, whenever he is in standing position, that machine should be easily handled when he is in standing position. Therefore, the workplace height in which the dimensions of the human body, it also plays very important role. So during the workplace design, initially before workplace design, we have to take the dimensions of the human body in the standing position, in the sitting position. Also, we have to measure the dimensions of the hand of the operator, legs of the operator, then certain height from the bottom side when he sit on any type of chair. That all the dimensions we have to take, and according to the dimensions of the human body, we have to design your workplace. So these are the three important factors which we have to consider in the workplace design where the operators are working. Please keep in mind, workplace means it is one compartment, or it is one of the area where the operators are working. Means there are different types of machine, lathe machine, CNC machine, VMC machine, some milling machine, some drilling machines. So number of machines are there which are comes under the workplace. So that workplace is to be designed as per the requirement of the operator. And in that we are considering the three parameters. First one is a dimensions of the working surface, where you will get the 2D dimensions only, right side, left side, and the front side. But the second factor, working envelope, it represents the total working area total working area of that particular operator. Maybe here you will get the idea of the total movements which is to be observed, or which is to be done, or which is to be performed by that particular operator when he is working on that particular machine or the workplace. And this is the third factor, that is workplace height, in which we have to check the dimensions of the human body in the standing position and in the sitting position. And then this is the ergonomic consideration for the chairs, because as I have told, some of the major operations we are performing, whatever the operations, for example, some packaging operations are there, some small drilling operations are there, some riveting operations are there, some another different types of transportation type of operations are there. All such types of the small operations, it can be performed in the sitting position only. Or if you take the example of computer engineer, so he is working on the computer. That means the computer is the device which is to be handled by the sitting position only. If we are operating the lathe machine, drilling machine, that operation, that all the machines we have to handle in the standing position only. But if I have to handle the computer, if I have to go for the small operations, some of the operations which is to be handled by the sitting position only. But during that particular sitting position, wherever the operator is sitting, that sitting position, that particular table is also designed as per the requirement of that particular operator. So you can see in the first figure, sitting workplace for the male. So the figure number A, it represents the sitting workplace for the males, wherever the males are working in the sitting position, so their workstation is to be designed. So you can see here the height of the table, here it is written 32 inch, so you can consider it as a inch, 32 inch. Then whatever the foot pedal is to be provided at the bottom side, their angle is also measured from 8 degree to 10 degree. Then height of the chair is also represented here from the bottom side, near about 20 to 24 inch. Then the distance between table and the height, sorry, distance between the table and the chair, it is also mentioned near about 8 to 10 inch. The clearance between table and the chair, it is also represented. So how it is to be designed? So initially we have taken the dimensions of the human body, and according to that particular dimension, this particular table and chair is to be designed. So why these particular designs are very important? Because when that operator will be sit on that particular chair and he is performing his operation on that particular table, or if he is operating that particular computer which is to be kept on that particular table, without any fatigue, without any stress, he can handle all that particular computers, all the types of instruments very easily. Therefore this particular concept is called as a workplace design. So this is the one simple example where the operators performing their task in the sitting position. So the first figure is applicable for the males, the second figure is applicable for the females. So if you compare the height of the females, it is somewhat less as compared to the males. Therefore if you check the height of the table for the male is 32, and height of the table for the females are the 30 inch. That means 2 inch less as compared to the males. Therefore wherever the females are working, so initially we have to take all the dimensions of that particular human body, and as per her dimensions, we have to design that particular table, we have to design the height of the chair, and that operator has to work in the effective manner. So the dimensions for the pedal are also represented, their angle is represented, the clearance between the table and the chair, it is also represented. If this particular height is not comfortable to that particular operator, if this particular height, this particular table, this pedal, if it is not comfortable to that particular operator, that operator will not work in the effective manner. Continuously he will not sit in that particular chair in the effective manner. Many times after 1 hour he has to come out from that particular chair, he has to take the rest, again he has to sit on that particular chair. After 1 hour again he has to come out from that particular chair. If such types of the situations are happening again and again, it will be effects on the performance of that particular operator. Therefore wherever the operators are performing his task in the sitting position, so we have to design that particular chair, we have to design that particular table as per the dimensions of the males or as per the dimensions of the females, and then that operator can be use that particular workplace, or he can use, or she can use that particular table or that particular chair in the effective manner, so he can perform his total work for continuous hours without any fatigue, without any stress. So this is one ergonomic consideration for the chairs. So maximum times some light duty applications are there, for example packaging, some rivet, small drilling operations, then some maybe if you take the example of administrative block where uh, total financial issues are to be handled. Maybe you can take the example of office. So whatever the official work is there, it is to be handled by the sitting position only. So in that particular office, what is our requirement? Whatever the number of tables are provided, whatever the number of chairs are to be provided, that all the tables and all the chairs are to be designed as per the requirement of that particular office peoples. If it is designed as per his requirement or as per her requirement, that person or that particular operator can works in the effective manner for continuously 7 or 8 hours. In between, he can take the break, no problem. But after 1 hour, after half hour, if he is taking the break because he is not comfortable, it will be effects on the overall performance. Therefore, this is one example I have represented here, economic considerations for the chairs. In our day-to-day applications, whatever the chairs we are using in our home, at our home, so that chairs are also designed as per the requirement of the customers. You can check the normal height of the chair. It is to be designed as per the requirement of the customer. If we will sit on that particular chair, we are in comfortable position. If the height of the chair is very less, we have to sit at the bottom side only. If height of the chair is very high, we have to sit on that particular chair at certain height. At that time, we are not comfortable. So whatever the chairs are available at our home also, that chairs are also designed as per our requirement or as per the customer requirement. Similarly, in industry, so wherever the operators are working, wherever he is performing his or her task in sitting position, that chair and that particular table is also designed as per their requirement. So this is called as a ergonomic considerations for the chairs. Then this is also ergonomic consideration for the chairs, sitting and the standing position. So this is applicable for the sitting position. Total work we are performing by the sitting position only. But some of the operations or some of the tasks are there in which we have to complete your work or you have to work. Some work can be performed in the sitting position. Some work can perform in the standing position. So as per the sitting and the standing position, that particular chair is to be designed. So as if you visited in any types of industry during your industrial visit, you have observed this particular chair. Sometimes the operator is sitting position and he is handling the control devices. He is pressing the buttons, he is handling the levers. Again, he is pressing another types of buttons. So some operations can be performed in the sitting position. But sometimes if I have to remove the job, if I have to hold the job, if I have to visit to the back side of the machine, so it is not possible by the sitting position only. So that operator has to come out from that particular chair. He has to remove the job. He has to hold the new job. Once the job is holded, again that operator will sit in that particular chair and again he will start the machine. So some of the operations are performed in the sitting position, some of the operations are performed in the standing position. At that time, that particular chair is to be designed as per the requirement. If we are performing all the operations in the sitting position only and the height of the chair is very high, at that time that operator is not in comfortable position. So that chair is to be designed in such way that by some time that operator can sit in the comfortable manner. By some time that operator is he has to come out from that particular chair and he has to perform the remaining operation. Therefore, the first figure, this figure will be applicable, or this particular dimensions are applicable where the operators are in sitting position only. And this is the second figure where operators or workers are performing his or her task mean standing position as well as in the sitting position also. Therefore, if we compare the dimensions for the male, in sitting position, the height of the chair, height of the table is 32, but in sitting standing position, the height of the chair or height of the table is 41. If we compare the chair, here the height of the chair is 20 to 24 inch, but in the sitting and standing position, the height of the chair is 20 to 34, because here all the operations are not performed in the sitting position. or all the operations are not performed in the standing position only. There may be some sitting, there may be some standing. Therefore, somewhat the height is to be increased. So again, this height, these particular chairs are also designed for the male as well as for the females. So these are the two important design considerations which are considered for designing the chairs. One is for the sitting position only, and the second figures are applicable for the sitting and the standing positions only. So below that particular chair or near to that particular chair at the bottom side, that pedal is also provided, because the pedal is provided where the operators are sitting. The pedal is not provided near to the hand of the operator, because pedal, it is to be operated by the operator leg only. Pedal is not operated by the hands. So that particular pedal is to be provided at the bottom side of the sitting position. Therefore, all the figures, figure number, then figure number 3 and figure number 4, in all the types of the chair, the pedal is provided at the bottom side only. So this is the design considerations which we are considering in the industry wherever chairs we are using for the sitting and the standing positions. Then working conditions. So these factors are also very important. What is meant by the working conditions? So wherever the operators are working, maybe some operators are working maybe in the some chemical industries, some operators are working in the some of the heavy duty applications, some operators are working in the production department, some operators are working in the inspection department, some operators are working in some of the whatever the casting tempering processes are going on. At such position the workers are to be working. So wherever he is working, so that particular environment, should be comfortable to that particular worker. For example, if any worker is working in the chemical industry, so chemical means there are different types of the smells are there. So what is the requirement? We have to wear the mask. So if that operator has not wear the mask, so he is not comfortable to work in that particular chemical industry, or wherever he is working, he will not work in the effective manner. Therefore, wherever the operators are working at the different environments, some temperature environments are there, some cold regions are there, some production departments are there, where some heavy duty applications are there, wherever he or she is working, that particular environment, it should be comfortable to that particular operator. Therefore, here this working conditions, it is to be designed into the two important part. First one is a physical factor and another is called as a psychosocial factor. So physical factor means wherever the operators are working, in any type of department, at that time which type of lightings are provided. In some of the operation or in some of the compartments, some mercury lights are provided. In some of the compartments, some noise operations are there. In some of the compartment, high temperatures are there. So wherever that particular operators are working, the lighting provided at that particular location, what are the different types of the noise generated at that particular location, whatever the temperature developed at that particular location, all such factors are to be considered in case of a physical factor, where the mercury is to be required, where mercury is not required, wherever the noise operations are there. Means if you take the example of hammering operations, so hammering means it is the heavy duty applications where the large amount of noise is generated, if the level of the noise is very high, at that in such condition that operator is not in a position to work in the effective manner. So to avoid that particular situation, what is our requirement? We have to provide some devices through which the level of the noise can be eliminated. So we can provide some standard headphones to that particular operator, so maximum noise it will not be comes to that particular operator and he can work in the effective manner. If you take the example of lighting, whatever the lightings are provided, some mercury lamps are provided, and due to that particular mercury lamp, it becomes very hazardous. If we are looking at to that particular mercury, immediately it will create the disturbance to your eye. So if such types of the lightings are provided, some red lighting, some green lighting, different types of color lightings are provided, that different types of the lightings are also affects on the performance of the operator. Then second is ventilation. So wherever we are working in the chemical industry, at that time, some exhaust fans should be there. If the exhaust fans are not provided, so that particular workers will not be works in the effective manner. If you take the example of temperature, we know that there are some casting operations are there, some hardening, tempering operations are there, where the temperature range is very high. In such condition, if that operator has to works at that time, that particular temperature, it should be comfortable to that particular operator. If the temperature is not comfortable to that particular operator, he will not works in the effective manner. That means whatever the physical factors are there, physical factor means lighting provided in the industry, ventilation provided in the industry, the operating temperature of that particular industry, or whatever the different types of the noise produced in that particular industry, all that particular factors which are affects on the performance of the operator, that will be considered in the physical factor. And then what is second? Psychosocial. So what it includes? Motivational work environment, which includes working hour, rest pauses, shift system, health and the safety. Motivational work environment. So what happen in the industry? From bottom management, we are having the top management. That means at the bottom, the workers and the operators are there. After that, some supervisors are there. After that, some engineers are there. And at the top, management is there. So whenever the operators are working on any type of machine, there should be the friendly environment. So whenever any operator is facing some problems while working on any machine, at that time, that supervisor has to help to that particular operator. So if that supervisor is not in helping manner, or he is not help to that particular workers, or maybe he is using very rush words to that particular operator, at that time there should not be any proper environment. That means that operator will not work in the effective manner. So it will be affects on the performance. If there is no proper relation between the workers and the supervisors, or there is no proper relation between supervisors and the management, at that time the effective environment will not be developed. So what is our requirement? We have to maintain the proper relation between worker, supervisor and the management, and we have to develop some motivational environment. We have to motivate to that particular operators. So due to that particular motivations, so that operators can be works in the effective manner, and their level of the working, efficiency of the working is goes on increasing. So in that particular motivational work environment, which factors are to be considered? Working hour. So as we know that nowadays, as per the International Labor Organization, 8 hours is the maximum working hours. Now it is to be increases from 8 to 10, near about 8 to 10. But as per the International Labor Organization, whatever the working hours are there, it is near about 8 to 10. If workers are working continuously for the 12 hours, 14 hours, at that time their efficiency will not remain constant. For first 2 and 3 hours, they can work in the effective manner, but afterwards, that efficiency will not remain constant. Therefore, we have to continue your work whatever the number of hours are assigned. If we have to work for the 8 hours, we can work in that particular 8 hours in the effective manner with high efficiency. That means working hour, rest pauses. After 2 hours, we have to take the pause, maybe for small break or maybe for your lunch. So such type of the facilities is also provided in the industry. And as we know that maximum working hours for the operators or the workers are near about 8 to 10. So after 3 hours or 4 hours, there may be some short break is there, or maybe some lunch break is there. Then shift system is there. As we know that many of the industry, some big scale industries, they are working in the shift. Morning shift is from 3 p.m. to 9. Then after that, the second shift is from 9 to 3. Then third shift is from 3 to 9. So like that, continuously the shift system is to be provided, and such type of the shift systems are available in the industry. Maybe if you take the example of sugar industry, there is one noise is there. So at the morning, one noise is generated. That means first shift is started. After 8 hours, another again another noise is there. That noise means it will give the signal that is first shift is over. Now the second shift is started. When the second shift is over, again you will get that particular noise. Means we can say that the second shift is over. The third shift is to be started. So that particular shift system is also provided in the various types of the industry. And the important thing is that health and the safety. So wherever the operators are working on any type of machine, maybe that operation is small duty, medium duty, or the heavy duty. So health and safety, it plays very, very important role. If we are working in some chemical industries, we have to use all the protecting devices. Maybe we have to use the goggles, then some hand gloves are there, some masks are there. So whatever the working environment is there, that working environment should not be affects on your body. So some of the hazardous chemicals are there, that hazardous chemicals will affect on the human body. So the important thing is that health, it also plays very, very important, and the safety. So if we are working in the noisy operations, we have to wear the headphones. So if we are working on the heavy duty applications, we have to use some goggles, hand gloves, some helmets are there. So whatever the safety devices are there, as per the requirement of that particular job or as per the requirement of that particular task, we have to wear all the safety devices. So if any damages are happening, so due to that particular safety devices, there should not be any problem to your human body. Therefore, in case of a psychosocial factor, the motivational work, which includes working hours, how much times that operator has to work, then rest pauses, maybe some short break should be there for the tea, lunch break is there after 2 to 3 hours, then shift system is to be provided, first shift, second shift, third shift, then health is also, health related issues are also available in the industry, and important thing is the safety. So wherever we are working, we have to wear all the safety devices so we can work in the effective manner. So this all the two concept, that is physical factor and the psychosocial, means whatever the lighting, ventilation, noise, temperature, working hour, shift system, all that particular factors will be affects on the working condition. So it represents the total working environment. Some operators are working in the design department, some are working in the inspection department, some are working in the chemical department, some are working in the temperature department. So there are different types of the departments are there where the working environment is different. But whenever the operators are working in that particular environment, he should work in the comfortable manner. He should be comfort. So he can work in the effective manner and their level of efficiency is to be increased. So this all the factors, that is physical factor and psychosocial factors, will be considered in the working condition, means working environment. Wherever the operators are working, actually that particular region, that particular compartment or that particular department is called as a working environment, in which we have to maintain this physical factor and the psychosocial factor. So this is about the working condition. Okay, so with this, today we will stop here. This factor again we have to discuss in the detail. In the next lecture, we will discuss in the detail which type of the lighting should be provided, which types of the ventilations are provided. Whenever the operators are working in the noisy operation, what care should be taken? When they are working in the temperature department or the temperature region, what care should be taken? Or what care should be taken by that particular industries for that particular comfortable position of the worker? That we will discuss in detail in the next lecture. So with this, today we will stop here. Remaining part we will take in the next lecture. Okay, now I will give the presentee. Yes, roll number 1, 2.
Yes, sir.
Roll number 2,
Present, sir.
3,
Present, sir.
4, 5,
Yes, sir.
6,
Yes, sir.
7, 8, 9,
Yes, sir. Roll number 9.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
Yes, sir.
17, 18, 19,
19. Yes, sir.
20, 21,
Yes, sir.
22, 23, 24,
Yes, sir.
25, 26, 27, 28,
Yes, sir.
29, 30, 31,
Yes, sir. 31.
32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 30, 33,
33.
36, 37, 38, 39,
Yes, sir.
40, 40, 41,
Yes, sir.
42,
Yes, sir.
43, 44, 45, 46,
Yes, sir. 46.
47, 48, 48, 49,
Yes, sir.
50, 51,
Yes, sir.
52,
Yes, sir.
53, 53,
Yes,
54, 55,
sir.
Present,
53.
sir. 55.
55, 54 is there? No. 55,
Present,
56,
sir.
56, 57, 58,
Yes, sir.
59, 60, 61, 62,
Yes, sir.
63,
Yes, sir.
64,
Yes, sir.
65. Who is remaining?
65, sir.
49, sir.
65. Hmm. Next,
53.
49.
53.
49. Okay.
53.
53. Okay. Next,
55, sir.
55. Okay. 58. Okay. Those who have given the present, they can live. Those who are remaining, 40.